Hi, I'm Sandra and I help online service providers create booked out services and sold out template shops. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what you need to create a service package that will sell itself. Make sure you stick around to the end to find out what my exact process is for creating, selling, and delivering a booked out service. The first thing you're gonna need is that you're gonna have to sell the outcome, and so many people get this wrong. Like, let me know in the comments if this is you. You're still charging by the hour and you're not really selling your client an outcome, you're selling a client a block of your time, right? Whether that's a day, a specific amount of hours in a month, but you are selling your time and not what you do for them. Why this doesn't work is that because as a client, it doesn't really matter how much time it takes the service provider to do the work, right? We're hiring for a result. We don't really care whether it takes you 5 hours or 25 hours. We want our Instagram content handled. We want our email service provider set up. We want our Dubsado running smoothly, right? So it's not really about how much time it takes you. It's about the ease that you add and the result that you give someone in their business. Now, when you get this wrong, you will notice that you're attracting like lots of nitpicky clients, and they might even argue back and forth about how much time someone took you and whether you should bill them for sending them emails and stuff like that. So that is one of the clear signs that you're not selling the outcome, you're selling your time. Now, you're also going to notice that you're going to have a much lower income ceiling if you do this, because there's only so far that you can push an hourly rate, right? If you sell a package, no one really knows what the hourly rate is, but if you charge by the hour, it's really easy to calculate, and it will make a client more likely to compare you to someone else. Basically, if you feel like you're hitting an income ceiling and you're stuck charging an hourly rate, then it is definitely about getting clear about the outcome and adding that into the package or the thing, not the amount of time that it takes you. Instead, if you're selling a result instead of your time, you're going to see a very different response, right? Clients are going to be really happy because you solved their problem, right? So the response to that is very, very different. Clients will also want to buy it because you are exactly reading their mind, what their problem is, and you're offering them an all-in-one solution with a fixed price, so they understand upfront what it's going to cost and what they're going to get in return. And what also happens on top of this is that your income potential is going to shoot right up, because now it becomes possible to improve the process, become more efficient, outsource certain parts, and any way that you can make it quicker is not necessarily reflected in the price, right? So the price is going to stay the same even if you deliver the result faster because you're getting better over time. So this just really helps when it comes to your income potential. So the first thing that you definitely need is selling the outcome. Now, the second thing you're going to need to really nail down if you want to create a very easily sold and booked out service is the process. Look, if you haven't got the process nailed down, you're gonna recognize this immediately, and let me know if this has happened to you. You're gonna get emails from clients like, I don't know what to do, what's the deadline for this, when do I have to hand this in? Like, if you're struggling to get content or get input from your clients, there's definitely a part in the process that's not done right. And the same is true for booking calls. So one of the things that I do is that I don't really do discovery calls unless someone requests them. So people can just come to my website, they can book my services, they schedule in their day, they automatically get the form, their invoice, their contract, everything is automatically handled. And so many clients love this. And I'm the same, right? As my business grows, I don't want to get on the phone with you. I've already decided I want to work with you. Why is the process not just click here, sign this, pay the fee, let's get started, right? It just removes a lot of the friction. So if you get a lot of clients that haven't got a clue what's going on or are missing their deadlines or not coming up with their input, you need to make sure that your process gets better. And by not doing custom work, but by having a package, you're also making it sure that the process can be the same for every single client. Now, symptoms that you might experience if the process isn't right is that you've got a bunch of clients, but you feel really scattered. You don't know where each project is. It's all kind of messy, or you might have notes and post-its everywhere of like, get contract from this person, get the first round of things to that person, make sure there's edits on the final stage for client C. And it's just really messy and you feel really scattered. And that's often a sign that the process doesn't work properly, or that you haven't actually got a process and it's all just a hot mess. And then the other thing that you might notice is that you don't know if you can take on more clients, right? That's because there's not a set amount of time it takes you. Sometimes projects drag on and on and on, and they eat up your time, even though if you just had it done, you could take on more clients in that time, right? Because they take way too long. So if you're feeling really scattered and you're not sure if you can book more clients, or you're just waiting and waiting and waiting to wrap up projects, then that is a clear sign that your process isn't working. On the other hand, if you do the process right, it's such a good feeling. You know, when you have the process really nailed down, like clients know exactly what to expect. They know exactly where they are and what happens next, and it just feels really good to them to be in the know. This is so important because often, especially for significant investments, there's nothing worse as a client than committing to spending a large sum of money with someone and then being left in the dark, right? You're like, wait, did I just waste my money out? Did I just sign a project for $5,000 and now I'm out in the cold? Right? No one wants that experience. And it's true for you as well, right? You'll feel on top of all your projects. You'll know exactly how many more clients or projects you can take on in a given time. And there is just something, when I first implemented like a really good system for my copywriting services, I could literally come into my project management system. I used Dubsado, but I'm not married to it. Like, use whatever you want. And I could see I had like 30 upcoming projects listed and they were all on the calendar. It was like months and months of work sitting there, and I didn't have to worry about it. Whereas before I had a proper process, if you were like, oh yeah, here's 30 writing projects, good luck, I would have ran screaming from the building, right? Not where I wanted to be. But because the process was partially automated and just really well done, I wasn't worried because I knew the system would take care of my clients, and my focus would have to be, you know, there were a few tiny things I would have to do. The system would tell me for each client. It took me like 10 minutes to get everyone up to speed and get it done. So it just was so much easier that way, and it massively improved my capacity for taking on paid projects, which again leads to a lot more money. And that kind of brings me into the third thing that you really need to get right, and that is your pricing. Look, when it comes to pricing, it is time to ditch the hourly rates and ditch the custom projects and ditch the maybe it's this much, maybe it's that much. You have to figure it out for every client that comes to you. And please, for the love of God, just have your pricing clear on your website. Here's what's included, here's how long it takes you, here's how the process works, and here's the price. That is really the summary. If you remember one thing from the video, remember that sentence, because that is what makes the service really easy to sell. And especially really easy to sell on your website without getting involved as the service provider. Look, if you're custom quoting still, and there are certainly cases where it makes sense, and sure, for really expensive projects, right, do whatever you want, it's fine. If they're paying you $50,000, you can custom quote, right, whatever. But otherwise, you know, there's so much time that goes into getting on the call, getting together a custom quote, creating a custom proposal and sending it off, maybe creating a custom contract for them and adding that. Then they come back to you and it's like, oh, actually we need this too, or we don't want that, or we want part of package 2 and part of package 1. And you have to, like, you're going rounds and rounds, and before you know it, you've spent hours up front on a project that hasn't even been signed for yet. Like, all of that might be unpaid time. And you've spent weeks too, right? And you're like, well, do I get more leads? Do I book more projects? Because if this project happens and it's a big project, you might be booked out for a while. But if it doesn't happen, then you have a problem, right? Now, the other thing for pricing mystery is that potential clients will often not reach out because they will assume it's too expensive. And I literally did this yesterday. Someone recommended a Facebook ads manager. I was like, okay, cool. I went to their website. There was some vague mumbo jumbo language. There was no minimum retainer. There was no fixed packages. And I was like, oh no, way too expensive. So I messaged back the friend who recommended them, and I was like, look, can I ask a very upfront question and ask what you're paying and what they do for you? And she told me, and I was like, oh, that's actually not so bad, right? That wasn't sticker shock at all. But I went onto her website, and because she didn't have it and you had to have a 45-minute call, I kind of went like, yeah, okay, but if I don't know if I can afford it, why would I waste 45 minutes of my time? Like, I'm currently in Hawaii, right, while I'm recording this. Why would I waste your time, right? Just tell me the price. Because it helps people make the decision on whether they even want to get on a call. And I'm, you know, unless you're a really great salesperson or a really good closer and you love sales calls and you can sell, you know, freaking ice to a baby seal, whatever, what's the point of getting someone on a call who can't afford it or doesn't have the budget? Right? And would you even want to? And then the other thing for custom pricing, when you wait a little bit, you give them the quote, there might be some sticker shock, is that what I often see with custom quoting, you're attracting tire kickers, and they're either getting quotes from multiple people or you're just getting people and companies that take a while to make decisions, which is, it can be okay, but honestly, who wants to wait forever to hear if a project goes ahead, right? The alternative, where the price is upfront, when someone reaches out, they know how it's going to be, what's included, what it's going to cost. They can just book it and they're pretty much ready to sign when they get on the call, which is so much easier as a service provider to, you know, to close them, but also to work with and to get like really warm and hot leads instead of people that might be interested and just sit on the call and then tie your kit. Just add your pricing. Really be transparent about it, because when you have fixed packages and fixed pricing, it just makes everything so easy. Like I've noticed is that, you know, I don't even have the need for sales calls anymore because people will just buy it. They will just book themselves in and it's done, right? It's really, really easy. And the other thing that I love about having packages is that it's much easier to predict your cash flow. So I can say like, hey, I sell 4 packages or 4 of these every single month. That means this in terms of cash flow, right? And I know what I need to do. So the 3 ingredients you need for a booked out service is a clear outcome, a clear process, and a very clear pricing strategy. And if you're missing only one of these, it's kind of like you're trying to sit on a stool with only 2 legs instead of 3, right? You're not going to be happy. Your client's not going to be happy. One of you is going to have a bruise on their ass. Like it's just not going to be any good. Now, if you are ready to create and sell your own booked out services, I teach you exactly how to do this, how to package it up, and how to sell it inside Booked Out, one of my signature courses. And you can get it with a very special discount if you click on the link below. Thank you so much for watching. And if you love videos like these, please subscribe to the channel.